Hello students. In the last tutorial, I've developed a mini game which looks something like this, wherein we have a circle and a rectangle, and with the mouse press events, we are able to make the circle move across, okay, up and down, and when it collides with one of the walls or the rectangle, the game gets over. Now, in this particular game, which is being developed, it has many limitations in the form of like we don't have scores getting displayed. Okay, so as it passes one hurdle or one wall, the score should be displayed. Secondly, if the circle and secondly, like when I start again, say if I move it down, okay, still it is the circle is moving ahead, though it should stop now, okay, or it's like terminate the game should get terminated. And also when it collides, it gives me a message of game over. I would be needing like the final score of that player to be displayed, and also a message here telling like press any key to continue. Okay, so I've developed the new version of the game, which I'll first run it and show it to you here. So it's something like this. Okay, you can see on the top a score is getting displayed, and say when I start, I pass one wall, one, two, then three, 4, and randomly the walls are also appearing at different positions. When you collide, it gives me score is 6 and press any key to continue. When I press any of the keyboard keys, again the game starts. Okay, and if I bring the circle down on the bottom, the game gets over. Okay, so let's quickly add these features to our old game. Okay, and so let's proceed with what we will start. We if you when if you recollect, we have in the last example we have mentioned two states. State 1, which is causing like it is the start of the game, and state 2, which when the circle and the rectangle collides, okay, the state 2, if task occurs, the state value changes to 2, and when the state value changes to 2, we have the background color 0, that is complete black, the fill color, and the game gets over message getting displayed. Okay, so let's add something further here. When the game over message get displayed, let me add some text. Say let me just change the text size to 324, and I write some text here which says press any key to continue. Okay, let's position this on the x-axis and the y-axis, and we'll actually detect it by the key pressed variable. In the last example, we use the mouse pressed. Okay, in this example I'm using key press variable. So any of the keys press, this key pressed if conditional statement will get called, and any of the keys pressed, then what to do. So it's like you change from state 2 to, okay, the state 2 is for the termination. So what to do, I want to just restart my game, and restart the game is like giving a call to the setup method again. The setup will then in turn will ensure that the draw method gets called and the game restarts. So I'll just write one method name, that is setup here. Okay, and let's check it out how it looks, student. But now when I'm able to run my program, okay, and the code looks fine for the first time, but when it collides, I get game over, press any key to continue message appears. But when I press any key, students, the game will not restart. So see, when I press any key, see a white screen pops up. That the first screen pops up, and then it take me back to the game over page. Why it is happening like this? The reason, student, is that uh, the reason is because of the state 2 actually value. If you notice here, state 1 is, if the value of the state is 1, then it's like a restarting task happens. Every character, everything getting initialized, and all the task is happening here. Okay, but when the value of state is 2, we are telling it that take us to the game over page, game over section. Okay, so when I please click on the setup, when I go to the setup method gets called. But what is the state value? The state value is not 1. The state value is what? The old value, which is 2. And since the value is 2, it is causing us to, the processing language is taking us back to this game over page. Okay. So see, that's the reason why. So when I run it, I'm able to run for the first time. But now the state value has become 2. Okay, state value is changed to 2. So when I call the setup, when any of the key is pressed, the setup gets called, the setup page gets called, but it takes me back to game over page because the state value is 2. So what I can tell here is that before you call the setup, let the state value be changed to 1. And when it is 1, it is like making the game to appear from the start. So now let's run and see. Okay, fine. If I collide here, it again game over message. I press any key to continue. When I press any key, see, this time it is not taking me to the game over page and my game is starting again. Okay, fine. So this one task is done. Now let's add the score part here. Adding score is very easy. I'll just define one variable with the name, say, in score. Initialize it to a value in the setup, say score equal to 0. Okay, score equal to 0. And now what to do further? I want that when the circle crosses 1 wall, the score value should be getting incremented, right? Okay, so for that, students, and the message should be displayed on the screen. So I will write first the text size. Say let me make a smaller size, text size of 20, and then say I have I can write here something like this. Okay, I can write here something like this, that is, say, okay, the score is plus score, which is right now 0, and I can tell like the x and the y axis where to display the score. Okay, so when we run the example, we can see that, okay, you can see a score getting displayed up here. Okay, in just a minute, the score getting up, the score is getting displayed up here. Okay, sorry. So when I restart, okay, the score is getting displayed here. So we want, but as it crosses the so each rectangle, we want it to incrementation should happen. And where we will write that code, students? Okay, see, the walls which are appearing, we are doing minus x to the wall. That's the reason why the wall or the rectangle is moving towards the left side, because it is minus 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 happening, minus 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 happening. Okay, this code is causing the wall to move towards the left side. Okay, and a stage comes wherein the first wall, okay, when it reaches less than 0, means it completely moved toward the left side. And then we tell that the wall x value change equal to width means the right side part, the maximum value of the right side. So that's why the new wall starts appearing from the right, and it goes minus minus till it reaches to the left, right? So when the first wall is less than 0, okay, means it has reached to the left side part. Then we tell the further code that a random wall to be appear, okay, at y-axis, and also at the x-axis, that is on the right hand side, the wall should appear. So here if I tell that if the circle has not touched the wall, okay, that's why the wall was able to completely move toward the left side and its value became less than 0. So means the wall was not touched by the circle, or the rectangle or the circle didn't collide it. So I can tell him here is that let the score value becomes +1. The score value become +1. So now when I check, students, here it will work fine. Okay, you can see score 0 when the first wall goes is 1 2 3, like this it will come. Okay, so the score is getting displayed. Okay, if you want to change the color of the score, let me just add a fill command to it. Let's put it 255, 0, 0. A dark red color, okay, will appear. Okay, so this is better, it's better visibility. Okay, now next, what, students, let this final score also get displayed here on the game over page. So I'll just copy this part, and let's go to the game over page, and we can tell here that after the game over message is displayed, You also display the score with some x-axis and its y-axis. Okay, and the press continue message should also appear. Fine. So let's run the example. I'm just making part by part, running the program to show you how it looks. So it's a zero score. Score is also coming now. Press any key. Okay. This part we have to now solve. So one score, two score, two wall we have passed, three wall we have passed. This is the fourth wall we passed. Okay. So fine. And then let's collide. Okay. And the score is 7. Okay. So it looks fine till now. What it remains is that now small things which were remaining, some one thing which remains is that when the circle is touching down, there is a height which is 500 specified, so then they say the game should terminate. Okay, so where to write the code? The student is all about where to place the, we know what to do, but where to write it. Okay, so where to place the that code is that when it reaches the bottom of the page, is the character y value which is getting always incremented and decremented, and a time comes, yes, it was here, a time comes when the character y value becomes greater than height. Okay, means that the value is 500, and that time we told is that let the circle doesn't disappear, it should not go down further below the screen. So we told the height value to be assigned to character y, which get fixed. Okay, so somewhere here when it reaches at the bottom of the page, I need to, bottom of my screen, I need to specify something here. Okay, so what I can tell, I can just write state equal to 2. That's it. State equal to 2 means what? Okay, take me back to the game over page, right? This page, this section would come then. So let's run and see. Okay, so now this is fine, this is fine, and if I just, okay, make it go down, yes, game over. Okay, but now when I restart the student, it will not start. See, okay, though it was working before, but now it's not working. Why? After you gave the value of 500, in the 500 we wrote this one code, that is when it reaches the height, okay, of then change to state 2. So why it is not changing? The reason it's not changing is that because when I restart, okay, it is again the value is what of the character y, last value is 500 only. So what is happening now is that the y is 500 because it's the bottom of the page, which is causing it to take to whom, state 2. Since it's going to state 2 again, the state 2 is again taking me to game over. Okay, so how to deal with it is that when we restart, okay, when it reaches, see if you notice here, if I collide here, okay, and now when I press the key it will start. See, it starts. So when I collide here, because now the circle, the character y value was not 500. Okay, so when I collide it works, but now when I say take it down here, and then when I restart it will not restart because the character y value is 500 and it's taking us back to the game over page. So what one thing we can do is to solve this issue, small issue, is that let me not put the character y value in the global declaration. In the setup method I will put. So if I write in the setup method, say that the character y value to be 50. So what will happen when we have the state 2 occurring, we are telling him go to uh, the initial value changing to state 1 and then go to setup. So when it goes to the setup, okay, the setup value will have the new character y value which is 50 and which is not 500. So now my program looks complete. It should not give me any mistake errors. 1 2, so we have the scores getting displayed. Okay, and when we collide it gives me a screen here. I restart, it works fine. When I touches the bottom of the circle touches, again it stops, and then when I restart again it starts. Okay, so student, this was a small game, so just to teach you the basic logic to be used. Okay, I recommend you all to visit. There are ample of tutorials available depending upon your need. There's a very good website with the name Happy Coding, which you can anytime refer. Okay, and it provides us with good tutorials, examples for processing, which you can use. Okay, and also, so there are many examples here. Also, For the collision detection, students, a very good website. Okay, if you write this on the Google, collision detection by Jeffrey Thompson, okay, you will get the various collision detection code for different objects. When the object is point to point collision, point to circle collision, circle circle collision, depending upon your need, student, you can select it. In my part 1 tutorial, I have used this circle rectangle collision, and I have shown with the example how to use it in our program. So do go through the tutorial, observe it, student. Making things is very easy in processing. Once the collision is able to happen, scores are happening, move mouse, key up, key down. This is the complete, for any project, these are the basic things which would be needed. Also, one recommendation, student, to you is that when you make, if you're making using processing, concentrate more on the code and on less on the like characters or objects in the form of like, don't if suppose you want to make a tree of, just make a rectangle, assume it that it is a tree. If you want to make some character, some person moving, so don't spend time in making the person. Okay, you can you can just use the circle and assume that it is a person. Okay, and if you get time, student, finally everything, the basic things looks fine, then you can, if you feel you have time, then you can work on the characters and all. But my recommendation to you, if you're using processing language, okay, assume it like circle, square, because the collision detection code, you will find it quickly, and which you can use it in your examples for these cases. Okay, so I hope you understand things how it is moving across and work accordingly. Please be free to ask me any questions during the lesson time. So, and if you're trying processing, please try the tutorial examples which are being done. I will also share this code in the lesson so that you can run it and see the output of it. Okay. Okay then. Bye. Bye everyone.